Now, if you want to talk about fun fights, record of Ragnarok, it will have to be Shiva versus Raiden because you have two Chads that's beating the hell out of each other. And it wasn't a typical brawl fight, it was more of a wrestling aspect. And that was something that was pretty cool to see because we saw drop kicks, clotheslines, and a Hurricane Karana, but that was prevented because of the fact that Shiva kicked Raiden in the back and Raiden couldn't perfect the move, which was pretty disappointing because I wanted the move to be perfected and it was one of my favorite wrestling moves. But it was a nice counter that Shiva was able to kick Raiden in the back because it was out of nowhere, because no one would suspect someone to kick someone in the back while they're using that technique. The most bizarre thing about this match was the beginning of the match where we see Shiva and Raiden about to begin their fight, and then we see a frog holding a basket of rice, and Shiva is just staring at the frog, and you see the frog just sweating and in fear, and Shiva is just losing his shit because he doesn't know why the frog is there. He even says, "What is that?" And in the back of my mind, I'm like, wait, Shiva, isn't your son an elephant? And bro, you got four arms and three eyes. So, like, you can't be talking about a frog having a bowl of rice over his head. But that was an interesting part because I was just like, wait a minute, where did this frog came from? And frogs don't normally do that, especially since the frog is part of the humanity part. But I don't know. I just thought it was just funny when I actually saw the frog and Shiva was losing his shit. So besides Shiva losing his mind over a damn frog, we saw that this match was a underdog story for the gods because humanity tied the game plan by 2-2. And this was Shiva's time to shine and redeem himself as a character because Zeus put Shiva in his place and he embarrassed Shiva. And so with this battle, we saw how Shiva became stronger and overcoming the doubts that we saw when we first got introduced to him. But not only that, too, they showcased that Shiva was going to win this fight when we first got introduced to Raiden, because when we saw Raiden having a giant orgy full of girls, devils, demigods, animals, like literally anything that has a pulse and has a vagina and titties. Raiden was smashing. And that kind of gives us a bad look because that theory when women be telling men like, oh, you guys smash anything that has a vagina or titties or anything that has a pulse. That was Raiden. Raiden was smashing anything. So you were very unsafe. But the fact that is that I really thought that this fight was going to be very serious, but actually have a comedy aspect because of the first time we got introduced to Raiden, the frog incident, and how these two personalities kind of match. And it was kind of funny how Raiden was more serious about this fight because he was saying that Shiva was annoying throughout the whole entire fight. And then Shiva was just very excited and kind of being cocky as well, even though Raiden was beating the hell out of Shiva, because in the beginning of the fight, Raiden just went straight at Shiva and didn't waste any time at all. Like, this man went straight to Shiva and started ripping his arms off and chopping off two of his arms. So Shiva only had one arm left. But it was pretty cool that both of them went all out, and even to the point where Shiva actually cut Raiden's hands in half and then knocked his head clean off, because Shiva won this fight. And it was pretty awesome to see how Shiva never gave up and how he used every part of his body to actually win. But the nice thing about with Shiva at the end of the match is that he actually thanks Raiden to give him the best fight of his life. And we also got dialogue that Shiva actually barely won this fight because he stated when he's met with Zeus was congratulating Shiva for the win, and he says, I barely won. So if Raiden never ran out of energy and he just continued on with the fight, we could have got either a tie or Shiva would have probably lost, because at that end of the match, both of them were just done. And it was a pretty interesting thing. And I did like how Shiva acknowledged his opponent and didn't take it for granted and actually admired him and his strength. And this fight was just pretty interesting and just fun to watch, because after getting 4 fantastic matches, this one was kind of just like a calm and cool fight that we're just like, all right, we're ready for the next big match. And it was pretty cool to see that. And I actually like how they try to make you root for Shiva during this match, because you wanted to see Shiva win, even though you want humanity to win, but you're most likely wanted to root for Shiva because it was all about him and his redemption of being God and his redemption of being a threat. But overall, that's what I have to say about this fight. And these are my thoughts about the Shiva versus Raiden fight. It was pretty interesting. It was pretty fun to watch. It had some goofy moments, and I really did like this fight. I mean, I think this fight was number 3 on my list so far, because number 1 was Zeus and Adam. Then it was Jack and Hercules. And now it's Shiva versus Raiden, and that was a pretty cool fight, and I really wanted to put some shine on this match. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys feel about this match, and what other matches are you very excited to see. But that's the video for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Monotone Man, and remember, always be decent.